This year, we took our kids to Europe. And by we, I mostly mean me and the 4 kids. We started in Oslo and ended up in Milano. We traveled to over 12 new places and stayed for about 9 weeks. We experienced many different cultures, foods, people, and even made friends along the way. If you've ever wanted to move abroad but couldn't quite make that commitment, like us, come explore how we spend our summers abroad. Feel free to join us as we run through our memories of our long summer break over in Europe. We'll share what we learned, we'll share costs of things, what we would do next time, and much, much more. Feel free to leave questions or tips in the comments. We are always ready to learn and grow. Last time we chatted, we were in Bergen, having a good time. We weren't there very long, and we knew the next stop was Stockholm, which meant the scenic train back from Bergen to Oslo, and then getting on another train from Oslo to Stockholm. When I was checking all the things, as one does before you're about to travel, I noticed that our train was now a bus. And I was like, absolutely not. No. To be fair, I've never actually traveled by bus in Europe. I've heard it's amazing. I wasn't in the mood, I guess. I don't know. So I was like, well, let me just take a little look. I'm sure we can figure this out. And I don't know how I came to this conclusion, but somehow I was convinced if we took the Bergen night train to Oslo, it would get us there at 9 a.m. And then we could hop on the 11 a.m. train, which would get us there on time, more than enough time, but it would be the last train available. Turns out it was just construction on the main train line from Oslo to Stockholm, which had actually started the week that we landed in Oslo the first time. So that was never really an option, and I don't know how I came to this conclusion, but we left a day early, took a night train, which means we had to pay a little bit extra for that, had a rough night's sleep, and then wake up to land in Oslo, and the ticket office wasn't even open. Didn't open till 9. So we got there a little bit before 9. So we ate some breakfast, played at the playground outside of the train station. Good times, really. No stress. I make sure to get back in time to be the first one in line because I didn't want to miss this 11 a.m. train. Turns out it was a holiday that day and they didn't open till 11. So my stress is through the roof. As soon as they finally do open, I talk to somebody who then tells me this isn't even an option. And actually, the train I need has been replaced by one single bus for the entire train. Multiple train cars in one bus, and it's full. Okay? I still need to get to Stockholm. So, she recommends renting a car. But because it's a holiday, only 2 car options are available. Sweet. Okay? Mind you, we have all of our stuff in a bag, on a backpack. It's heavy. Okay? And we have a stroller, so we're doing the whole find the lift game. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's stupid. You can decide which one it was for this. We get downstairs to the car rental place, and they have none available. And I was even asking to take a car from one country to another country and not return it, which was already hard in general. I am trying to think of any way to get to Stockholm. The man helping me is trying to find any way. He's going out of his way. He's looking at buses, flights, everything. Everything. And there's like nothing. And he's like, this is so weird. And he was even shocked that it was just one bus for the whole train. He was like, what? But he even like checked for himself, and yeah, sure enough, one bus. Cool. So this angel of a man had a friend who wasn't at work, but happened to work for the same company, but over at the airport. And he found they had one car that needed to be taken back to Stockholm. And they're like, if she gets to the airport, can she please rent that? I think he even like worked it out where there was a deal too, which was so nice. But it was kind of irrelevant because when I got there, nobody knew what he had set up, I guess. It was expensive. I think it was like $600 for the day. It really sucked. Part of me is hoping that in my delirium, I didn't hear that the $600 was because of that deposit you have to put down. I don't know. I know this is embarrassing, but I still haven't even checked my finances from this trip, to be honest. It's been wild since school started, okay? Okay. You can judge me all you want. Fair. Fair enough. Back to the story. We finally get the cutest little Volvo SUV, and it is now an 8-hour drive to get there. It's fine, except for we get there after hours, like barely. I think by like 5 minutes. But you know, that's just how it is in Europe. Nobody like hangs around. Their job is not their life. I respect that. I totally get it. But nobody told me what to do in this situation. So I just did what I thought was best, which was drop the key in the night box and hope for the best. Again, I haven't checked my finances, so maybe I was charged a lot, but I don't think so. Actually, you know what? I think I did check just those days right after, because I was pretty paranoid about them charging me for that. So I think we're good. Let's hope we're good. But we landed in Stockholm, and I don't know if it was the trauma of being just mom and the kids. I don't know if it was the trauma of the trains, and they could just feel my stress. But the kids, they just needed to not, if you know what I mean. So I don't know why exactly or how it worked out, but really, I have no footage of what we did in Stockholm, except for some on my phone. I do know that I did a kid-based day in Stockholm, and I did take some videos of that, just mostly because it was so cute and so fun. And I just naturally do it. But I'm guessing I turned off like mommy vlogger mode. Mommy vlogger sounds horrible. Like I'm that crazy girl who locked her children in closets. Not like that. Like I have my big old camera out and I take videos and, you know, I don't even talk to the camera when I'm out. But I didn't bring my big camera, is what I mean. I just left it at the hotel apartment, whatever we were staying at. I don't even remember where we stayed. I think it was just an apartment. But, yeah. I do remember getting a fika twice, because that was awesome. And I remember the amazing park that we found for kids. I remember just mostly taking it easy. If we saw cool sights, we saw cool sights. I took a lot of pictures because it was beautiful, of course, but we did not push to go to any specific museums or palaces while we were there. We did run into a guard. We all found it very entertaining, but we didn't go inside because we had a stroller. I don't know, just Stockholm. I guess we have to do it again. Oh darn. because I think we just existed. And I think that is exactly what we needed. And I do have to say that you have to be prepared for stuff like this when you're traveling full time or just traveling the entire summer with kids. Sometimes those plans, those bucket list items, they just have to wait, because that's not the point. The whole point is memories, and I don't want to ruin traveling for my kids. I don't want them to have a memory of being dragged around, and that's what travel is. I bet if I asked my kids about Stockholm, I actually don't think they'd really remember exactly without some prompting, because we did go to a lot of places and Stockholm was at the beginning. But I bet if I told them about the kid day, they would remember. And that's the whole point. So I will end it there. I have thought about editing some prints, some cute prints to share on here. I don't know. But for now, this is just a short video and a little bit of tips of if you want it to be memorable and fun and, I don't know, happy. Sometimes especially after a travel hiccup, you just kind of you gotta roll with it. And sometimes rolling with it means you don't do the things you thought you were gonna do, but you find a way to enjoy it. I also feel like we felt more like locals too, because we weren't rushing around. We were just enjoying. We ran into the Stockholm Marathon. That was fun. So, yeah. We had a lot of hiccups in Stockholm. I do remember that. I do remember feeling a little stressed. I think it was a hostel because there was a lot of young people and I felt very paranoid about noise and children. And my 4-year-old, she was done in Stockholm. She had a meltdown a couple times. And yeah, it can be embarrassing sometimes because this isn't how your kid acts normally. And you're not quite sure of the social norms for parenting. And you just kind of have to do what is best for your kid. And sometimes it feels judged. That's rough. But if you know on your core that you're doing what's right for you and your kid, I think at the end of the day, you forget about it. But trying to think of any other tips. Hostels are amazing for traveling families, but it is not the main demographic that they are shooting for. They are shooting for college-age kids, young adults, budding on their life, hopping from place to place. They're not really catering to or marketing to families. But they work amazing for families, but you just have to be aware. Nobody's rude, but you don't always feel welcome. And there's a lot of things that happen that you're just like, this is kind of inconvenient. Like in Milano, there was a lot of activities, a lot of concerts. And as a single traveler, yes. As a mom trying to put your kid to bed, I could see that being a problem. My kids are used to it. We have a sound machine. It was fine. But just keep that in mind. But I do feel like it's worth it. Stockholm. Yeah. That's all. That's all I got for Stockholm. Sorry about that. The next spot is Copenhagen. We take a train to Copenhagen, and we loved Copenhagen. So, yep. I'm trying to think of anything else. So, in case you don't know, a fika is this midday treat that is kind of culturally normal. Like, you just go get a fika. It's a coffee and a sweet treat. A sweet tray. I love that guy, by the way. I recently found him, and like, he's hilarious. And I didn't know his accent was like fake. I actually just couldn't tell if he was autistic or something like that. That's embarrassing. Anyways, so when we got a fika, obviously I'm not going to give coffee to my kids, but I let them pick out a treat. And these are like decadent, beautiful treats. And not cheap, for real. But I feel like good food never is. But that's not true, because in Italy, the food is pretty cheap and it's amazing. Okay, so fika. And we got a little cup. I gotta find it. We got a cup for the fika, because my husband loves coffee and would have loved a fika. Like, fika is so him. A midday coffee break with a treat. He would have loved that. So we got him a fika mug, so we could pretend and do fikas here. We're actually excited because where we live, there's a cute little cafe called Tourlejeu, and he calls it Toodaloo, which is so funny. And we're going to take the kids there for a fika one day. So it'll be fun. Yeah. I love adopting cultural norms into our life. Like, from Germany, we do Schultütes, which is like a cone for celebrating going back to school. Our last baby just went to school for the first time. And technically, you're supposed to get it if it's your first time going to school. But a lot of people do it every year at the first day of school. And so we have a Schultüte. We try to grab any Oktoberfests or Christmas markets just because we love those. We do St. Nicholas Day. We ring the bell for Krampus. We love these kind of things. So adding a fika just felt like bringing Europe home with us. Just like the art. We love bringing home art. I'm excited to print off many, many photos to put around the house. I love it. I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely makes me happy. I love going to Europe. I love people. I love learning about other cultures. And I know that there's so many more cultures out there to learn about and to love. Right now, my obsession is Europe. Maybe we'll venture over to South America, maybe even to Africa, maybe even over to Asia. I don't know. So, fika and Stockholm, Sweden. Sweden. They're so nice. Yeah. Okay.